Thanks for watching, folks. We're at the Blair Township Fire Department. I'm here with Bill Parker, Chief. Chief, thanks for taking the time.
No problem. Thanks for coming today.
All right. How long have you been the chief here at Blair Township?
I've been a chief here about 8 months.
Okay.
Starting in December.
And before that, you're over there in Glen Lake.
Correct. I was a lieutenant at the Glen Lake Fire Department prior to that.
All right. We're talking about what's happening on 9/11 and the memorial service that you're having here. Let's talk first of all why we're doing this and why here.
Yep. So as everyone knows, on September 11, 2001, we had a tragic event in the United States, which is for this. And America promised to never forget what happened, and that's why we do these memorial service to honor the 343 people that died that day. But another thing is that never forgetting is that since then, in the past 17 years, there's been 110 firefighters that have died due to cancer because of that. And there's been a couple thousand that are currently off duty and retired early due to the cancer because of that event. So it's an ongoing incident where firefighters and people down at that ground zero are still dying today from what happened 17 years ago.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to fixate on the events of that day and the loss of life that day. But I think very few of us remember that even here, 17, 18 years later, there are people who are still dying or still in kind of bad shape, right?
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I think we never need to forget. Even it's going to be ongoing. We're probably not going to know for several years kind of how many people did die because of that event on that day.
All right, so let's talk about the memorial service itself. You're going to have a special engine here. You want to talk about that?
Yep, Spartan Motors on that day, after the tragic event, they donated a vehicle to Ground Zero area, and so the engine's going to be here, and it carried several firefighters to their final resting place. So it's kind of special. It'll be here from Spartan Motors that day, and we'll have it on display for the public to come and look at that day.
Now, you're a young whippersnapper. What were you doing September 11th, 2001?
Well, you kind of funny you mentioned that. Before I got into the fire service, I was a minor league baseball umpire, and so I was on the road during baseball, which is America's pastime. I was supposed to be going to a Milwaukee Brewers professional game that day and got canceled. It was kind of eerie, you know, baseball never got canceled across the world because of that. And then 2 days later, I was driving back home. My season had ended, and I drove through Chicago, and there were no planes in the sky, no traffic on the road. It was just kind of a weird, eerie feeling, even being in Chicago away from New York during that time.
And what led you what you're doing today? What got you into firefighting?
When I was 18 years old, saw a sign like we have all throughout the United States and here even in Blair Township looking for firefighters, and I saw the sign, walked on the station and filled out the application, and 24 years later, here I am.
Wow. Wow. All right, the September 11th memorial service here at Blair Township offices in the fire department. How can people find out more information about this?
They can go to our Facebook page, Blair Township Fire Department. All the information's on there. We're going to start at 8:30 in the morning. We're going to have a couple significant events when the planes hit the towers. Right after that at 8:30, it'll be about an hour-long ceremony, and we invite everybody in the public to come out and be with us that day.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we said, it's important to remember not only what happened that day, but what continues to happen to firefighters. And as a firefighter, it's impossible to forget what happened that day, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can't forget. I mean, that's what we do when we are called. We go where people don't go. But just hearing the stories 17 years later on what happened, what they were doing when they went up to save those people, and how many people they did actually save, getting them out of the towers.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming.
All right, at Blair Township Hall, I'm Vic McCarty for My TV 12 and My News 26.